So we've been talking about big data, and you've mentioned big data and the quality of data. So how can financial institutions use that data, but also interpret it in a way that that they need to do?
I think the word interpreting the data is a key part of it. If you look at the smart banks or the banks that are very well positioned, they're not just talking about storing data, they're talking about the analytics, they're talking about the value add that they're getting, they're talking about the defenses against what we've talked about in terms of the compounding effect of a lot of these regulations. So if you look at the analytics, the analytics is really where you can actually put a number of things together, where you can actually see 4 or 5 different transactions or 4 or 5 different risks, and you can actually link those into one. One of the things that I'm seeing out there in the marketplace right now is that the concepts of the regulations are well understood by banks, but the consequences of getting it wrong is not understood. And what good analytics will do is to really be able to enumerate and give worked examples of what getting it wrong is going to mean in this new environment.
So if we take the example of global custodians or asset managers, for instance, how could they make sure that they can avoid any risks associated with possibly interpreting data wrongly?
Well, if you look at the post trade is where all of the valuable data on the entire securities marketplace ends up. It's got the power to unlock a lot of problems that are happening elsewhere. So on the positive side, there has been great advances made in messaging for data. What's important in data is to be able to make like-for-like comparisons with the data. And a lot of our business is about providing a golden copy. And a golden copy is really where a critical decision can be made on a piece of data. It's absolutely confirmed to be highly accurate. The second part of it, though, isn't just about the accuracy of the data, it's on the timeliness. Because the second thing we're seeing with the smarter participants is that there's actually commercial opportunities, even trading opportunities, out of having that correct or accurate data way before all of the participants. And these are the types of applications, or these are the things that people can do when they actually have got a technology investment that gives them this result to a high standard.
I see. But that obviously has some costs involved with it. In your view, what would be some of some cost-effective ways to avoid high costs? Well,
I think you have to look at it from a lot of perspectives. I think what's very important is that if you look at the return of investment on the technology here, I think you're going to see very compelling cases for the return on investment. So the other way of looking at this is what is the value of getting it right? What is the value of making the right investments? And the value of getting it right is going to be easier compliance, more efficient compliance. I find that a lot of market participants, everybody's worried about being compliant. However, a lot of people are throwing a lot of reports together. They're throwing a lot of systems together to make sure that they're compliant. And I don't think that's good enough. We're going to end up in a situation where, from industrializing processing in the post-trade, savings are going to be made. But all of those savings are going to be depleted if organizations don't get more efficient in terms of how they get all of that reporting information together. So if you go back to the benefits of getting it right, the benefits of getting it right means that organizations will be very well positioned to adapt to not just these regulations, but to adapt to future iterations of these regulations. And secondly, most of these regulations will have different geographical flavours. So how Basel III is going to be done in the UK, how FATCA is going to be done in Switzerland, may be different to lots of other places. So it's about having a fit for purpose platform that can easily adapt to all of these. There's great value in that. And secondly, there's a value in getting it right in terms of how you differentiate yourself with your clients, the types of service levels that you can give your clients as opposed to everybody else. And lastly, there's the very significant efficiency gains that people can get from getting it right. So what we can do is really get this right for people, and it's got a very compelling return on investment.
So John, what would you say are the best solutions to compliance processes?
Well, very clearly the best solutions are correctly automated and analytics led. What I mean by correctly automated is not necessarily just automating what people have traditionally done over the last 25 years. There are very powerful messaging standards in our industry. A lot of things have been designed around straight-through processing. So by correctly automating, we mean fully leveraging the power of modern workflow, of the functionality that's in a lot of the industry standard messaging set. And also it would apply actually Six Sigma principles, like handling something once rather than doing something a couple of times. And then the other part of it is analytics led. In other words, where you have high quality data, which means it's timely, very accurate, so that you can make big decisions against the data. It's safe. And then solving the, and using that to solve the compounded consequences problem of regulations. And thirdly, doing it in such a way that you're future-proofing your applications against likely changes to the regulation in future.
I see. And obviously that has some costs involved with it, which we'll be covering in our next chapter.